All right. What's up, everybody? 4 o'clock. Welcome to Master Spa's Facebook Live. We are on location. We're going to give everyone a second to pop on here and give us a sound check, please. Hey, Nicole. My mother will not be first because we are at her house and she's sitting right there. She did not want to come on. I'm not going to look at her either while I tell you that, because I don't know what she's doing, but I'm not going to look because it'll burn. All right, 4 people. I have a couple of non-related things to talk about. One is, see that gigantic scratch across me? That's from my dog, Captain. You guys know Captain. Charlie, thank you. Sound is good. Yeah, Captain gets up in bed every morning to say good morning before he goes outside, and his love hurts. It's full contact, and you know how big he is. And then
big boy.
He is a big boy. And then Summer, I'm using your childhood towel here. It's got a cat on it. It says, keep your paws off my towel. It's my towel now. All right. Beautiful, beautiful. 8 people coming on. Andy, Charlie, Nicole, 9, 10, 8. Give you guys a second. Is Kayla, are you our babysitter today? All right. So, what are we talking about?
Somebody for a master class on there?
I'm sure we do. Somebody's babysitting. All right. So, Mary, what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about using your swim spa for relaxation, for stretching, for some physical therapy, if you've got something going on like an injury, and just talking about how you can use your swim spa not only for like cardio exercise or strengthening exercise, but also for relaxation and stretching exercises and rehab as well. So.
Right on. Charlie said, "Captain's love hurts." Quote of the day. It does hurt. You know what? And I showed Mary today how we take care of his nails. We throw the toy on the driveway 3, 4, 5 times each time we play, which is every day, because he'll lose his mind if he doesn't play. And just to grind his nails down, so they're not long at all. But he raked me this morning. Oh my God. But he didn't mean it. It's okay. All right. So today, sort of interesting, and it was coincidental. Actually, I'm going to back up here. So what you can't see, we are in a Therapool D. So we brought the infamous half umbrella back to my mother's. She bought it, couldn't figure out a way to put it in a way that she liked, and we literally have it leaned on the roof. There's no telephone or electrical wires anywhere near it. It's leaned on the roof and the railing. Because before it said there's an 85% chance of rain at 4 o'clock.
Meanwhile, all week it's been like this.
Beautiful.
This whole week is supposed to be
freaking amazing,
rain.
like San Diego nice.
Yeah, and then
today is on and off rain. So we're prepared to hide under that if it downpours, which it won't be a little rain. It's going to downpour if it does anything. And then we just leaned it up there. So we're going to hope for the best on that. And then again, we're in the Therapool D, which is just awesome. You guys know how I feel about this tub.
And the Therapool D is really designed for exactly what we're talking about today.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
everything
yeah.
not swimming.
Right, because it's too short. We actually did try swimming in this once. It does not work.
Mary tried.
Yes.
No, we didn't try. Mary tried. She's 4'10" and she couldn't do it. It can't be done.
Right. It's just not designed for that. And so, but it is designed for rehab, for aquatic exercises, great for stretching, great for massage therapy and relaxation. So we thought this was a perfect location for today.
So then there we were. Mary has a reoccurring injury, and we're training pretty hard these days. So when Mary deadlifts, we're both CrossFitters. So when Mary deadlifts, she gets this thing on the top of her glute, and
It basically just like spasms.
And it sort of, does it lock up?
Yeah.
It sort of locks her back and leg together. I mean, even watching her get in and out of a car is painful. So we went and visited our friends at this little physical therapist place in Connecticut called the Performance Lab, and they are awesome.
Yep.
Mary did some dry needling, and some cupping. She's got the marks on her back to prove it, which is always fun. But what was interesting is I went and it was in between, you know, crap that we did, and I got to ask them some questions, which is where it falls into today, because we were there, which was a coincidence. We asked them most common injuries. What do they see? And they basically see the same stuff. There's obviously, you know, they're super busy in the places. There's multiple locations in the state of Connecticut. They really do a great job. So they see everything, but what they see, you know, the most of are all the same stuff. You see neck, you see shoulders, you see knees, lots of tendonitis, lots of inflammations. And the thing is that most of that stuff is caused by muscle imbalance. Obviously an injury, you know, like an actual injury where something is torn is different situation. And in no way are we suggesting that you just exercise in here, even if you have those problems. But working with someone, working with a professional who can diagnose properly, because really what happens, and I want to talk about this, stretching is great for certain things, for injury prevention and feeling good, but it's not the fix for other things. Whereas certain things like shoulders and neck and traps, the best fix for that is, I mean, obviously you do need to do some stretching for shoulder mobility, but you need to strengthen. So working out, exercising with weights and bands, just resistance, no matter what type it is, no matter what flavor it is always going to be the best preventative medicine. And that falls back into, you know, the same thing. They said neck, shoulders, knees, and hips too. So hips, stretching, absolutely critical. And then shoulders, I like to do the preventative stuff because I have a reoccurring shoulder injury that felt like it was just a strain when we, you know, and it took a couple of tries to get this figured out. It was a strain, but it was all coming from my trap and a muscular imbalance in my upper back and my trap. So how do you fix that? You know, so we did a whole workup for, how long was that? 8 weeks?
Yeah, I was going to say 10, or I thought it was 10
Yeah,
or 12,
it was
but
maybe 10 weeks of pretty intense physical therapy. And that was a different place. This guy, Dr. Pete, is also amazing. So just, I think the key, and for us, we're working out a ton. We have to do this stuff, but the key is finding someone who can really diagnose this stuff and work with you to prevent it. Because, I mean, like me personally, I don't want to have surgery unless I don't have a choice. And that, and this stretching and all this wellness routine and, you know, cold immersion therapy and all the stuff that we're doing is all preventative in nature to build wellness. You know, there's the medical field and insurance situation in the United States right now is really not preventative. It just fixes things and then you go back. It doesn't prevent things from happening again.
Right.
We don't do wellness. You know, that's not our strong suit here. So, or probably anywhere. But that's what we're here to talk about today. Okay? So, Patricia, neck exercises. Neck exercises, you got to be careful with if you have a problem. So I'm hesitant to assign neck exercises other than stretching. Because if you have something going on with a disc, something in your neck, and there's an actual injury and you have a real problem, you need to, you know, neck stuff, you need to get diagnosed. If it's just coming from your trap, it's going to probably be muscular, probably. In no way am I diagnosing that for you. And usually I don't like disclaimers and all that stuff, but this one I do because it can just be so many different things. Key is finding someone to work with you on and then taking their lessons back to the swim spa and exercising through this stuff to prevent it from happening again.
well, you know, so neck is a little bit scary because
It
it's,
is.
you know, attached to your spinal cord and you don't want to do any damage. So
Which is fairly important.
Right. You just want to make sure that you're not, even with stretching, that you're doing the correct stretches for whatever injury that you have. Because like a lot of times, you know, doctors will say don't look back, but sometimes depending on what it is, you might need to just be very cautious and gentle in what you're doing. So.
Okay, so Jane asked, how about hip exercises from arthritis? So in that situation, you obviously walking, and obviously it depends on fitness levels. So you have lots of different hip flexor movements, but the big thing is going to be staying mobile and stretching. So most commonly with hips, they're super tight glutes, hips, mine tight as a damn drum. And no matter how much I stretch them, it's uncomfortable. They're big, thick muscles, and it's just, it's not fun. In the water, however, you have the temperature being, so right now we're in 96-degree water, which feels amazing. And you know we prefer warm water, unless we're specifically cold immersion therapy, which I don't love to do, but the benefits can no longer be argued against. So, you know, everyone always asks about the cold tubs, and yes, we do love them, but it is not super duper comfortable to do, but the benefits, you can't argue with them. They're there. So the inflammation reduction is amazing. However, that being said, we have been, you know, working around these parts. You know, Master Spas is hot tub manufacturer. So obviously since day one, hot water feels better. So, but stretching hot water is better. So I would, if I was going to do hips and I had a Therapool D, I would do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin this around there. Okay, now it's on you.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is take one foot on your knee. You know the stretch I'm going to have you do.
So,
that's going to hurt you.
Well, no, actually the physical therapist wants me to do this.
Oh, good. We're doing it for real then.
So right now, because I'm so locked up, I can't. Normally, you would try to lift the other leg, so you are in like the figure 4.
Right.
And you would want to try to lift up the other leg, like put your arms underneath the opposite
So basically,
hamstring.
she's going to take her arms and lift that leg up to deepen the stretch on that hip.
But right now, because I'm so locked up on my left side, the physical therapist recommended taking my left leg at the knee and stretching, and I get a really good stretch that way. So on this side
is that hitting your glute or your hip or both?
This is more hip and hamstring.
Okay.
Glute and hamstring.
Yep.
But if I were to, I think it would be a little bit more hip if I were able to get the other.
What if you do the other side?
I could do the other side.
Okay.
With,
so show us normal Mary, and then we'll play, you know, with the damaged Mary as well.
So this
there
is
you go.
Pull up.
So see how she's pulling up, and then you want that.
This is like really deep in your. It's really glute.
And then if you take your right elbow and push that knee down, it also deepens that stretch. Feel it?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that one exercise, that one hip stretch, is so uncomfortable. But that tells you how many people, right?
Maybe 5 seconds and then release, and then.
Yeah, I mean it's so painful, but that will loosen up your hips. So basically, and then we used to have this massage therapist who was a former pro triathlete, and she was just nuts. But when I say nuts, I mean amazing. I don't mean like crazy. She was not crazy. She was just absolutely the best, freaking phenomenal. So she used to say, whenever you sit anywhere other than driving, you should put your ankle on your knee and stretch your hips all the time. She basically did it every time she sat down, you know, for her regular life, and she was stretching her hips all the time to keep them loose the way they should.
And that's just.
I'm going to turn it back around to you.
Like sitting.
Yep.
Like
that. Just put your ankle on your knee and then press. Your ankle on her right ankle, left knee, and then push down right knee.
And that is definitely hip.
Oh,
hip flexors.
Yep. All that good stuff. Okay. So we got Anna. Hi from Miami, Florida. Susie, glad to see the hip info. Hi from NorCal. Susie also. Hip exercises for arthritis. Jane, same idea. So I'm going to scroll down here. Terry Valmasoy is on. Say hi to Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Terry, if you were here, we would give you a big old hug. That's an inside joke, and Terry gets it. So it's awesome. Lauren is on. Say hi to your friend Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Okay. So next thing. Neck, shoulders, hips, Knees. Does anyone here know Ben's favorite knee exercises in the swim spa?
Yes.
Lauren said perfect for prenatal stretching too.
Oh, yeah.
Great job, Lauren.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now prenatal has a situation that's a little different from Mary's. Mary's is beat on, so she can't move. But obviously, bodies are shifting, hips in particular, prenatal, and this stretching, keeping everything in great shape is obviously recommended. Okay.
What is the opposite of flexion in exercises?
So you have flexion and then...
And I can't think of it right now, but extension? Because, so when I don't know if that's the right word, I get a lot of pain when I do like the
Right.
hinging.
Right.
So doing the opposite
Right.
will release, and that's, I don't know what the word is, but flexion is important for that, like tightness, especially in the hips and the back.
So now, oh, I didn't mean to hit that button. So now, hip stretching. Actually, I'd like to also talk about this for a second. My mother does all of her exercises in the morning, and then nighttime comes out with a glass of wine. So I think she's got this exercise relaxation thing nailed, and she keeps it at 96 degrees. So the trick to that is picking the temperature that works for both. And that's what she has done here, and she is a pro. Let's see, Jan from Hollywood, MD. Hi to both of you. Hi, Jan. That's cool. I read Hollywood and wasn't expecting MD next to it. So, very cool. So let's get into some shoulder stuff. And this I have personal experience with because I had to deal with this recently. So I'm going to let you sit up there. Lily.
Where you were?
Just went through PT for knee pain. Can you go back to knee stretching? Actually, we'll go back to knee strengthening. The stretching, knees stretching, you want to stretch quads and hamstrings, but we're not really stretching a knee per se, exactly. And then, but I do have an exercise that I love for knees. Okay. All right. So you can point that over there. You just pointed at me.
Yep, it's not you.
So for shoulders, Tommy?
Yep.
Okay. So for shoulders, most of what we do tends to be this way. So if you have a muscular imbalance, which was my issue in the trap, and I do all this stuff, but not enough, apparently. So this doctor actually went through and counted the time under tension of everything that I do in a week on average. It was this direction versus pulling, and I was out of whack. Even though I'm doing a lot of pulling, it still wasn't enough. So this creeped out, and then I had to loosen my shoulders. My shoulder mobility was not great. I've been lifting weights for like 35 years, and my shoulders are tight, and I'm not young. So all that stuff led to this pain that felt here, and it felt like a torn rotator cuff, but it was not. That's just where it was manifesting, and it was just he said all it is 2 of the 4 muscles on my rotator cuff were strained and unhappy, and then what else was there? There was a little bit of bursitis on the top. So all these movements in the other direction. So remember Mary said opposite direction?
Right.
This is a very light band. It says 20 pounds. We're pulling backwards. This exercise is, and you can see it on my back. You can see my traps firing. You can see all my shoulder muscles firing. That reverse exercise is huge for keeping the balance on that shoulder rotator cuff.
One of the things that we were talking about when we got here today with Ben's mom was the resistance bands that are in the exercise kit for master spas are actually quite heavy, meaning there's a lot of tension in them. You can get different weighted or different amounts of tension, probably on Amazon, of resistance bands. And this way, if those bands that come with the kit are just really too tight,
absolutely, you want some light ones too.
You want to get some looser ones.
You need some heavy ones for your big muscle groups, but you need some light ones too for all the fine stuff.
Or if you're experiencing pain with heavy, you want to go lighter to get blood flowing.
So for Mary to do this, if this was too much for her, she could actually tie this in a knot, or or get a little D-ring and just pull on one side and it will be lighter. But for me, it works to do both at the same time.
I feel like this is a good strength and stretch.
I mean, there's definitely a stretch in there, and then I like to poke my head down, and sometimes I'll get a very interesting little pop in that neck.
Ooh.
And that's all the mobility that we're losing as we're getting older, and it's causing lots of injuries. So many injuries are caused by muscular imbalance.
Oh yeah.
And it's not something that we can sit here and say, hey, do this, do this, do this, and it prevents all that stuff, because you may already have it. So the trick, you're going to need some help. You got to find someone who can diagnose this stuff, and then start addressing each thing. And honestly, if you live a very active lifestyle, it may feel like you always have something wrong, and it may feel like you're always dealing with something. You know, I have the next thing to tackle is my low back. After I run a certain distance and speed, my low right side just tends to lock up in the same spot. That's next. Shoulders in great shape now. And the other thing, we have to hang from bars. So CrossFit, we're doing, you know, what's called a bar muscle up or toes to bar, and lots of pull-ups. It seems like we're pulling up all day. And my shoulders just wouldn't, so you have to kind of get in front of your shoulder. My shoulders just wouldn't go. So, you know, busting all that cement off those joints was not easy for us, and I needed help with physical therapy.
And one of the things that's, I mean, if you have a swim spa and you have an injury and you're going to a physical therapist, tell them that you have a swim spa and that they can give you specific aquatic exercises that you can do at home. I know physical therapists will be more than ecstatic that you are doing exercises in the water. So
some of this today is to talk about a couple of things that you can do for things that are common. There's a million injuries out there, guys. We can't do each single one. And if there's something that's really bad, you obviously need to grab someone to help you, let them know you have a swim spa, but we can definitely talk about the favorites. So if I had to pick three takeaways from today, whether you have an injury or not, I would say that doing your hip stretch like Mary did would be amazing. And we all need to do it, myself being number one in that line of people who need to do it. I don't do it enough. It's the last thing on my list of things I want to do, but it's so critical. I used to be just as bad with my hamstring stretching that we do at the gym, actually as part of our CrossFit classing and programming. So I do that, and they're in the best shape ever in my life at almost 50.
Yeah.
So I guess I would add stretching hamstrings, and all you have to do is pop up one foot.
Yeah. And I was just, Kenny, toes to bar is actually a gymnastics skill. It's more than just a leg lift. It's an entire body.
Do it.
Go
quick on YouTube and look at CrossFit toes to bar.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. The videos make it look sort of
so easy, and it's not.
If you've never done it, it sucks to learn.
Yep.
Especially at 48, 49 years of age, which I was 48 when I started, and now I'm 49, and I have toes to bar now. But getting that rhythm in and getting your hands behind that shoulder mobility is absolutely critical, and mine did not want to go. Every time I would drop down, it felt like my arms were going to rip off. So that was really challenging. Actually, when I put my hands up there, because we did them yesterday, I'm sore, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So hamstring stretch, easy. Everyone knows how to do that. Hip stretch, ankle on the knee, and then you want to pull the knee that has your ankle on it, and you want to push the knee that's up down. And even standing, pushing that knee down, I feel this hip uncomfortable. Okay.
Oh, Susan, that's awesome. Susan said that she has arthritis in her knees, and she went through PT, and they were thrilled that she had a swim spa, and she practiced the exercises that they taught her in the swim spa. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, hip stretch, hamstring stretch, sort of a side lateral movement with the band, both arms, to round out strength. Next one, my favorite, step
downs. Here, let
so the number,
switch with you.
Yeah, I guess I go over there.
Yep. So
go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ben is standing on the step.
Yep.
So if you have...
My toes are right on the end of the step. My toes are actually hanging off the step like...
And it's the middle step, the lowest one. And pretty much most of the swim spas are going to have this step.
And this is a big step.
Yeah. And he is keeping one foot on the step and then dropping down the other.
If you point it down?
Yep, yeah, I've got it in there.
There you go. And I'm balancing. If you can't balance,
grab on.
Grab the side.
Yep.
Just put your hands. Grab the side. That's fine.
Kenny said, OMG, I just saw toes to bar. Yikes. Exactly.
Look at muscle ups. Bar muscle ups. That's what you do after toes to bar. We're way too old to be starting this stuff now.
Yes.
It's been really fun. And painful.
Tell them how many of those you need to do.
The
step downs.
The step downs, all of them. So, I mean, I like huge sets of them. So I feel my legs, of course, we're sore from what we've done. But what ends up happening is your knee is coming out in front of your toe a little bit.
Right.
It's putting all that pressure is on your knee and all those muscles.
And that is one thing to stress. You actually do want the knee to come over your toe. So when you're even in the water, when you're bringing that stepping down, the knee of the foot that is staying on the step, you want that knee to come over.
Right. It used to be old school, like when I started squatting in high school, which is a long time ago now, we were taught that your knees need to stay behind your toes to protect them. Well, what really happens is that we weakened them, and now this is all coming to light. Everything continues to improve, especially when it comes to sports performance, physical therapy, and you look at the athletes, and I know there's some other, less glamorous reasons that athletes are performing at a higher rate than they were, 30 years ago, but there's also a lot of training technology that is far, far better. It's not solely the negative and bad stuff, like performance enhancing drugs we're talking about. The training technology is so much better than it was.
Yeah.
For example, we didn't know in those days that putting your knee in front of your toe was actually better for your knee, so nobody did it. And now everyone who ever did squats in the old days is walking around with knees that are painful because they weaken them all that time. They're not. You have to flow blood to everything to keep them healthy.
Yeah.
So this all came from, what was the country? It was a Nordic country. I don't
Finland,
know.
maybe.
Finland, one of these countries, and they have the strongest knees on earth. And they traced it back through generations, and they are all basically, they were loggers, and they knocked down, fell a tree. Is that the right word? I think you fell a tree. They would fell a tree, tie a rope to it, and they would back it out. And every time you take a step back, you see the sled pulls backwards. You see those online if you're not looked that up. Their knees are coming in front of their toes, but anyone who does those sled pulls in reverse, their knees are immensely strong and they're so healthy. So to give you an example, Mary and I used to race Ironman, long distance stuff, and then a couple years ago, I thought that my knees were just done. There's no injury, there's no missing cartilage, it's not bone on bone. I would go for a run and my knees would ache. No idea why, and I just stopped running. I said, all right, it's inevitable. Every runner eventually turns into a swimmer, right? So I figured it was my time. Then there's this guy, and I'll plug him on here, his knees over toes guy. I think his Instagram,
knees over toes guy.
Yeah, that's his Instagram handle, knees over toes guy. Watch his stuff if you have knee problems, and it is fascinating. Well, we started doing it, and now we run every day. 4 days, 5 days a week, we're running between 2 and 5 miles, and I have no pain. And it's all from those exercises, so it works. And these step downs are his number one thing, and now they're my number one thing. And we actually proved all of his theories, and I thought my knees were done with running, and I'm not, and they're great, and they're stronger than they've ever been. So pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Kim, the exercise book that does come with the exercise kit has many exercises and stretches. Maybe not these specifically, but you can always refer back to the Master Spa's YouTube page, because there are probably now hundreds of Facebook Live videos that have other exercises and stretches in them as well. So there is plenty to do, both from the exercise book that comes with it and in the YouTube page. And just like Kayla, I think, just said, these are recorded and they are posted on the Facebook and the Master Spa's Facebook page and the Master Spa's YouTube page.
Okay. So, someone asked about neck stretching. So, the thing that makes me a little nervous about answering neck questions, obviously it's attached to your spine and that stuff is important. And if you have a real problem, I want you to make sure that it's taken care of by a professional. Don't just listen to us or anyone online for that matter. Actually have it checked. That's your neck. It attaches your head to your freaking body. It's important. But a couple of basic neck stretches, and I guess my question is it coming from the trap? Or is that just where your neck, where your tension is? Or is there an injury, you know, a disc problem or something real? And that's where it's scary. It could be something just muscular coming from your trap that radiates up into your neck, super common. Could be something where you hold all your tension in your neck, super common. It could be a disc problem and you have an actual, you know, spinal injury or a disc injury, super common. So I just want to be careful with that. But basic neck stretches should not hurt. You're gentle on them, and you can start side and just a gentle pull. You're not cranking, and you want to relax. And you'll feel your neck when you just breathe out. You'll get another ½ inch on that, and I'm not hurting it. All 4 directions. A little twist. I'm not pulling. Now when I do up, I feel my age, because we're all kind of starting to round down, right?
Yeah.
So I feel that, but when I look up, I feel it in there. It's a great stretch, okay? Anything on the shoulders. So I've attached this. You can stretch your shoulders like this. So take some of the slack up. So you know the door stretch? Everyone has done it. I'm sure everyone on here knows what a door stretch is for your shoulders, because it's the first thing a physical therapist will have you do. So I'm basically doing a door stretch with a band, and I'm just leaning into it, and I'm stretching that shoulder, nice and gentle. It actually feels phenomenal, and I beat the crap out of this stuff yesterday. Do this one too. It's easier for you to see.
He's just pulling a little on the resistance band.
Just pulling a little bit, just pulling my arm back. Okay. Next, we're going to put this around my neck. I'm kidding. No. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Don't tie this to your head and do neck stretches and neck exercise with it. We did not say to do that. Don't do it. God, I shouldn't even have said that.
We do have some questions. Here, I'll switch with you.
Okay.
A few questions that came ahead of time. I'll get them.
Okay. Camera's on you, Mary.
Okay.
And if everyone would please note, my mother's water is awesome. Gary asked, how's the water look? He already knew it was perfect.
Okay, first question. We are enjoying our Trainer 15D immensely. Awesome. This is from Jim in New Hampshire. I generally do 15 to 20 minutes of swimming and rowing before my wife joins me for a relaxed swim so far every day since it was installed 6 weeks ago.
Wow.
I do find it a bit of a pain to hook up the rowing bars each day, then put them away when it's done. Is it harmful to leave them in the spa for a few days at a time? So, speaking from...
Allow me.
Yeah.
Since I was the one who did it, allow me to jump on this grenade. If you leave them in, they will deteriorate and fall apart. All the cloth parts of them, you have to take them out. I understand it's a pain.
Yep.
I left them in there. It took a year. But yes, they will deteriorate to the point of falling apart and not working. Yeah. And also the bands will get brittle as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cannot leave them in there.
Or just even like these like
I'm sure everybody at Master is laughing at me right now because we did that and then we were like,
we had to
ask. Hey, could we get a second set of rowers? Yeah. What happened to those ones? Yep, no good. All right.
John in
Back on you.
Pennsylvania asked how much our smallest swim spot costs and what other costs are there. John, just if you contact your local dealer, you'll be able to get specific pricing depending. It all kind of depends on which unit you're looking at. But typically, you know, anywhere starting at, you know, 30,000, 28,000, all the way up for Crazy Michael Phelps can be up there. Rose from Ontario. I'm only 5'2". What is the actual water depth for the trainer? 15 and 15 deep. Looking to use for aquatic exercise and relaxation. Rose, Mary,
So stand in the middle, Mary.
am only 4'10". And this is a deep model. So this would be the same depth as a trainer 15 deep.
Yep.
So,
Are you on your tippy toes?
I'm not on my tippy toes right now. I'm right at my neck.
Right at your neck.
So it would, but in a shallow, it's
9 inches
right
less.
above my belly button. So it's just for a shallow, you're going to be about 9 inches shorter than that.
Yep. And again, this
I'm
is
only 4'10".
right. Mary's 4'10". This is a Therapool Deep model, which is the same 60-inch height, same water depth as a Trainer 15D or a Challenger 15D. Anna said, "I love my Challenger 19D." Anna, I love your Challenger 19D.
Brad from South Carolina asked, "Can I do a glide freestyle kick, not a flutter kick, in the swim spa?" So, yes. If you watch the YouTube channel, we've got some pro triathletes who show themselves doing some different drills in the swim spa. And I know that they're...
So what can you read? I'm sorry, I was looking at the...
Can I do a glide freestyle kick, not a flutter kick in the swim spa? So, I mean, they're gliding.
So I guess the main thing is, don't buy a Trainer
right,
12.
yes,
if you're
right.
swimming at that level, you need a Challenger or up.
Right. And you're also going to need either a 15 or an 18-foot swim spa. And then Terry in Indiana, what is the smallest dimension you would recommend for exercise and relaxation? So if your goal is just exercise and relaxation and you're not thinking about swimming in the swim spa, then this Therapool Deep 11 by 8 is the smallest swim spa that Master Spas makes for relaxation and exercise. So those were all of our questions there. And we hope that you all got something out of today. We were talking about, using your swim spa not only for swimming or even some more endurance exercise or harder cardio, but also for gentle stretching, rehabbing, physical therapy.
Did we talk recovery run?
We didn't.
We still have a little time.
Okay.
Go ahead. You want me to talk about it? You want to talk about it?
So one of the things that
Actually, go ahead.
When Ben and I were training for Ironman, which we haven't done in a while just because of time limits.
Actually, let's switch. You get over there.
Okay. Was when you're or marathon training, your legs start to get tired, heavy.
By that, she means completely beat to crap.
Yes. And one of the things that you can do in your swim spa is to do a water run, essentially. You could either do it against the current, or you can just stay in place with high knees or butt kicks. And obviously the reduction of impact on your joints and your muscles from running in the water is so good, but you're not going to lose any of the fitness that you've gained through your run training on the ground. You're just going to, I guess, maintain that fitness.
Well, I mean, I used to be able to get my marathon heart rate pace, no problem, in there with no
impact,
downside, no impact on my lower body.
Yeah.
So it was perfect.
Yep.
We do have a question. Can someone explain how the hot weather water management works? How the hot water weather management works? I have a Trainer 19 D, and my swim side stays around 91, 93. Oh, I got to do the see more button. Oh, here we go. Regardless of what I do. So switching the water management to hot weather sounds reasonable. I know it will not change the temp. So all you need to do on that is at nighttime when it cools down, of course, depending on where you are, we were just in Texas, and right now in Dallas, or last week, there was no such thing as cool down. I mean, it was 8:30 at night and 97 degrees. It was unbelievable. But when it cools down at nighttime, you want to fold up a towel. The best thing you can do, it works perfectly. It's so simple. Fold up a towel, put it under the cover and let it vent that extra heat out, and it will cool off overnight. It does work, and that will help you maintain the lower temperatures. But when it's, you know, super crazy hot, if the sun is direct, you know, swim spas direct sunlight, you'll need to do that. Maybe some sunshades. I mean, right here you can see we just have this umbrella is blocking the sun, and it works awesome. But an umbrella or those sun sails at the sale, it was the word I just couldn't. I'm hungry. My brain's not. It's like I need some calories here. So we'll do a great job of keeping the water temperature down. But the most simple and best thing to do is just vent it at nighttime, and it works fantastic. Yep. Okay. All right.
So we'll be back normal in 2 weeks, which is August 28th, and we will see everybody then. And we hope everybody has a great night and then enjoy some relaxation in your swim spa.
It didn't rain.
It didn't.
It didn't rain.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.